Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before we even speak of recitation, let me ask you, when was the last time you felt that your soul was lit from within? That amidst the noise and rush, there was a still flame guiding you. What if I told you there is a weekly gift, a moment ordained, that can rekindle that flame, stitch you back to clarity, and protect you from unseen battles? Friends, today we explore why you should read Surah Al-Kahf every Friday. But more than a list of virtues, I hope you'll leave this with a sense that this is not just a ritual. It's a conversation between your heart and the divine. Let us walk together through 3 truths. 1. Light between Fridays. There is a narration that whoever recites Surah Al-Kahf on the day or night of Jummah will be granted a light that shines from them between one Friday and the next. Iqra Network, Com for Islam, QA for Quran House for What is this light? It is not simply an abstract metaphor. It is guidance when decisions feel blurred, clarity when uncertainty clouds our vision, a beacon when doubts whisper. That light does not guarantee life will be easy, but it assures that in our darkness, we are not alone. And more than that, this light is promised from beneath your feet, reaching upward, shining for you on the day of resurrection. And Allah forgives the sins between 2 Fridays. Islam Klatu Iqra Online Plus 2. Imagine carrying that light within, not just as comfort, but as strength. 2. A shield against trials. Dajjal's fitna. One of the gravest trials promised in the end times is that of Dajjal. A deception so potent it may shake even firm faith. The Prophet taught that whoever memorizes the first 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf will be guarded from this trial. Noor Academy, Com +3, Quran House for 3, Iqra Online +3. These verses, these words stand as a bulwark, not out of superstition, but rooted in the fact that the Quran is a living, breathing guidance to place ourselves under its protection every week. That is a humble act of surrender, humility, and faith. We live in an age where doubts are faster than light, whispers of false promises swarm, and deception wears many masks. To recite Surah Al-Kahf weekly is to anchor ourselves, to return to the firm ground. 3. Stories that remind and realign. Surah Al-Kahf is not just a surah of protection, it is a surah of reflection. Let me remind you of what it speaks of. The sleepers of the cave, young believers who fled oppression, trusting Allah's plan, and were sheltered in a miraculous rest. Their story calls us to hold on when the world turns hostile. Quran House Plus 2, Iqra Network, Com Plus 2, The Man with Two Gardens, a tale of pride, loss, and the transient nature of worldly wealth. A lesson: what we own may own us if we forget. Quran House 2, Iqra Network, Com Plus 2, Moses and Khidr, the prophet who needed patience and trust to grasp wisdom beyond immediate perception. Not all calamities are punishments, some are divine planning. Iqra Network, Com Plus 2, Quran House Plus the Dul Karnan and the Wall, building a barrier against Gog and Magog, reminding us that sometimes protection comes through action and sometimes through surrender to Allah's decree. Quran House Plus 2, Iqra Network, Com Plus 2, each story whispers to our hearts. Life is more than what we see. There is purpose in patience, wisdom behind trials, and mercy in what we cannot understand. When we make a weekly retreat to this surah, we refresh our vision. We remind ourselves we are not just living for this world, but for what lies beyond it. I want you to imagine for a moment that between every Friday and the next, there is a gift laid at your door waiting to be claimed. A light, a shield, a reminder. What if I told you that this gift is not something distant, but something close, something you can touch with your heart if only you reach for it? That gift is Surah Al-Kahf when recited on Friday. And today I'd like to walk with you into why that habit, gentle, intentional, weekly, can shift how you see your days, your trials, your relationship with Allah. I do this not as one reciting from theory, but as one walking the same path, seeking that same light. When we speak of light, we often imagine something external, a lantern, a glow, something that surrounds us. But true light, the Quranic light, begins within. In the hadith it is said, whoever recites Surah Al-Kahf on Friday will have a light shining from him from one Friday to the next. That is an internal radiance, clarity in confusion, strength in weariness, direction in doubt. It's not that nights will vanish, but that the darkness will not conquer the heart that holds this light. Think of the moments in your life when you felt alone. Decision points, crossroads, moments when your heart whispered uncertainty. In those times, that light becomes your companion. You may falter, you may stumble, but you are not left utterly lost. That light is a promise. Even when the way is veiled, you carry a spark that Allah Himself kindles from His book. Then consider this: one of the greatest tests promised in our time is the trial of Dajjal. A trial so grand, so deceptive, that many hearts may waver. Yet the Prophet taught us that whoever memorizes the first 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf will be protected from that fitna. Can you imagine a shield woven not of iron but of words, verses that wind around your heart, guarding it from deception, from whispering lies, from that which would confuse you into losing sight of truth? It is remarkable how Allah preserves us, not always through the obvious, but through the hidden. We expect protection in walls, He gives it in verses. We pray for safeguards in people, He gives them in surah. We ask for fortresses, He gives us roots. The first 10 verses, the last 10, the whole of it, any measure brings benefit. Because Allah's mercy is not stingy, His care is not sparing. He grants protection through a surah, through your voice, through your attention. And then the stories in Surah Al-Kahf, they do not exist to decorate a recitation. They are mirrors. They are signs. They are invitations back to humility, to reflection, to awe. The youth of the cave, young believers fleeing oppression, trusting that Allah's wisdom was greater than their fear. They slipped into a state beyond time and woke centuries later. Their struggle was not for comfort, but for faith. They teach us when the world becomes hostile, when the voices tell you to abandon, hold tight. The one who sheltered them can shelter you. The man with 2 gardens, he had wealth, comfort, beauty. Yet he built walls around his ego and forgot that the walls would collapse. His story reminds us all that we own can turn on us if we forget who owns everything. In losing his gardens, he had to rediscover humility. In losing what he loved, he had to reclaim what truly matters. Then Moses and Khidr, what a journey of patience, subservience, surrender. Moses asked, and the answers didn't come at once. Some actions looked strange, some outcomes painful, some questions unanswered. Yet the hidden wisdom was always there. In that story lies a reassurance. You do not need to grasp everything now. Some truths are not for your eyes yet. Some reasons are reserved for the last day. Your own trials might be echoed unseen in those verses, and Allah wills that through them you lean humbly, not arrogantly, awaiting His wisdom. And Dhul Qarnayn, building barriers, guarding against corruption, doing what he could while submitting to what he could not. He did not boast. He did not pretend to control all. He acted with what was given and entrusted the rest. A lesson. Sometimes protection is action, sometimes it is submission. Sometimes you build a wall, sometimes you pray for mercy. Both are needed, both are worship. So when we walk weekly into Surah Al-Kahf, we are stepping into a room of mirrors and lights, of protection and reflection. We are reminding our hearts you are not here for mere comfort. You are not here for hollow victories. You are here to live in light, to stand in trials, to grow in intimacy with your Lord. You may say, but I do not have time, or I cannot finish it. Know this: the intention matters. Begin with the first 10 verses. Begin with what you can. The weight of the habit is more than the weight of completion. What draws is consistency, humility, presence, not performance. The heart does not demand perfection, but sincerity. When Friday approaches, let your heart lean toward these verses. Let your tongue remember them. Let your ears listen slowly as if each word is a lifeline. And then carry that lifeline into your week. Because in your darkest doubt, that light may call you back. In your loneliest moment, that shield may wrap you. In your unspoken sorrow, those stories may speak back to you. In your confusion, the wisdom may settle. In your pride, humility may rise. In your grief, mercy may flow. Friends, do not let the Friday come and go as just another day. Let it be a week's marker. Let it be a return. Let it be when your heart remembers that this world is a whisper and the hereafter is the grander reality. Let Surah Al-Kahf be your weekly revival. In light, in connection, in protection. May you carry that spark from one Friday to the next. May your heart be shielded from the greatest trials. May the Quran not be something you recite, but something that recites you, that inhabits you, reshapes you, softens you, strengthens you. And may Allah accept what you read, make it a lantern for your path, and gather you under its radiance on the day when only light matters. There is something deeply beautiful about the rhythm of our weeks. How every Friday comes like a soft knock on the door of our hearts. It is as though Allah Himself is calling us to pause, to realign, to remember. Among the gifts of this sacred day is a surah that holds within it layers of meaning, protection, and light. Surah Al-Kahf. Every verse is like a key opening a door to reflection, faith, and surrender. But perhaps the most profound thing is not only in reciting it. It is in allowing it to recite you, to read your heart, to heal what lies unseen. When we are told that whoever recites Surah Al-Kahf on Friday will have a light shining between one Friday and the next, this isn't just poetry. It's a truth. This light isn't something you can see with your eyes. It's something you feel in your soul. It's the light that helps you make the right choice when your mind is clouded. It's the light that guides you when life feels dark, when everything seems uncertain, when faith feels fragile. This light doesn't mean you will never face difficulty. It means that when you do, you won't face it alone. Allah will give you vision in your blindness, calm in your storm, and clarity in your confusion. This surah comes to protect us, not just from external trials, but from the internal ones that quietly erode faith. It is said that the one who memorizes or recites the first 10 verses will be shielded from the trial of Dajjal. The Dajjal's test is one of deception, the kind that makes falsehood look like truth, that makes the temporary feel eternal, that makes the forbidden seem harmless. Isn't that what we see around us today? The same illusion, the same whispers, the same inversion of values. To recite these verses every Friday is to place a barrier around your heart, to renew your spiritual clarity, to remind yourself what truth really is, and who truth belongs to. Each story within this surah is a mirror, a reflection of something within us. The people of the cave were young, surrounded by a society that called them away from their Creator. Yet, when faith became costly, they chose exile over compromise. They left behind comfort, familiarity, and approval, all for the sake of Allah, and in their retreat they found protection. The cave, dark and small, became their sanctuary. Isn't that what happens when we turn to Allah? When we leave behind what is temporary for what is eternal, He gives us safety in the very place others might call confinement. The cave wasn't their punishment, it was their mercy. So too, when Allah removes you from something you love, when He isolates you, when He makes your world smaller, it may be that He is giving you the space to breathe faith again. Then there is the man with the 2 gardens, a story of arrogance and delusion. He looked at his wealth, his success, and said, "This will never perish." How familiar those words sound to the modern heart. How often do we say, "I've built at this, I've earned this, I deserve this." But in a single moment, the storm came, and everything he relied on vanished. The lesson isn't about losing wealth. It's about remembering who truly owns it. Every blessing we have is borrowed. Every comfort is a test of gratitude. This story whispers to us, never fall in love with the gift more than the giver. And then there's the journey of Musa and Khidr, a meeting that teaches us patience with divine wisdom. Musa, a prophet, full of zeal and knowledge, sought to learn more, to understand the hidden reasons behind Allah's decree. But every time he questioned Khidr's actions, the breaking of a boat, the killing of a boy, the rebuilding of a wall, he was reminded that not all wisdom is visible. Some truths are veiled to protect us. Some losses are disguised blessings. Some delays are hidden redirections. How often do we cry for what was never meant to be ours, or resist what was meant to save us? Sometimes Allah's mercy looks like heartbreak, and His care looks like denial. Surah Al-Kahf teaches us to trust in what we don't yet understand. And then comes Dhul Qarnayn, a man of power and justice. He used his strength not to oppress, but to serve. He traveled to the edges of the earth, helping nations, building barriers against harm. His story reminds us that true strength is not in dominance, but in service, not in arrogance, but in humility. Every position we are given, every ability we hold, is a responsibility. It's not ours to boast about, it's ours to use for good. Each of these stories carries a heartbeat, a call to reflection, humility, and hope. Together they form a tapestry of faith that reminds us of who we are and where we are going. To recite Surah Al-Kahf every Friday is to step back into this reminder. It is to say, "Wa Allah, I need your light again. I need your protection again. I need to remember what truly matters." So when Friday arrives, let it not be just another day. Let it be your pause, your spiritual checkpoint. Open your Quran. Read these words not as a task but as a dialogue with the divine. Let every verse wash over the dust that has gathered on your heart during the week. Let every story anchor you again in patience, gratitude, and trust. And when you close the mushaf, let the echo of its meaning stay within you. Let it guide your choices, your conversations, your reactions. Let it make you slower to anger, quicker to forgive, softer in heart, and firmer in faith. Because that's what real light does. It doesn't just brighten your surroundings, it changes the way you see. So from one Friday to the next, carry that light, protect it, feed it. Because in a world full of distractions and deception, this light is not just your comfort, it is your compass. And perhaps one day when you stand before Allah, this same light will lead you home. Every week, Allah gives us a chance to return. A moment where the heart can breathe again, where the soul finds its rhythm after days of noise and distraction. That moment is Friday. And in this sacred time, there is a treasure that too many hearts overlook. The recitation of Surah Al-Kahf. It's not just an act of worship, it's an intimate conversation between you and the one who never forgets you. It's a reminder sent once every 7 days to bring you back to what truly matters, to light your path, and to shield your heart. When the Prophet told us that whoever recites Surah Al-Kahf on Friday will have a light shining between this Friday and the next, he was speaking of a spiritual illumination, a light that does not fade when the world gets dark. It is a light that exists within, guiding, protecting, strengthening. Life is filled with moments of confusion, of loss, of searching for direction. And sometimes it feels like no one understands the depth of what you're carrying. But when you open this surah, you are not alone anymore. You are sitting in the company of words sent directly from the divine, words that carry healing, clarity, and meaning. You begin to see that even when the path is uncertain, Allah never leaves you wandering. This surah is not just recitation, it is reflection. It is not only reward, it is renewal. Every story within it holds a secret for the heart that listens. The story of the youths who fled their city, hiding in a cave to preserve their faith, is not just about a miracle of sleep. It's about courage. The courage to leave what everyone else runs toward, to sacrifice comfort for conviction. They walked away from the world, and Allah embraced them in His care. Their cave, though dark and cold, became a sanctuary filled with light. How many of us have felt like that? Alone, misunderstood, away from what's familiar. Yet in that loneliness, Allah shelters us. Sometimes the cave you fear entering is the place where Allah is preparing your peace. Then there's the man with the 2 gardens. His story unfolds as a lesson in perspective. He had wealth, beauty, abundance, everything the world could offer, but arrogance made him blind to the source of his blessings. He thought his success was eternal, his gardens indestructible. Yet, with a single command, all of it was gone. Allah reminds us through this man that this world is temporary, fragile, fleeting. No matter how lush the garden, it will one day fade. What remains is gratitude, the quiet acknowledgement that everything you have is on loan, that your blessings are gifts, not guarantees. Sometimes when Allah takes something from you, He is not punishing you, He is teaching you to love the giver more than the gift. And then comes the story of Musa and Khidr, one of patience, humility, and trust. Musa, a prophet, seeks knowledge from someone who holds wisdom he does not. 3 times he questions, and 3 times he learns that Allah's wisdom often hides beneath layers we cannot see. A boat is damaged, a boy's life is taken, a wall is repaired without reward, and behind each act is mercy. How many times do we question what happens in our lives? We look at what's broken, what's lost, what's denied, and we ask why. But this story whispers softly, "Trust me, there is meaning you cannot yet see." What looks like a loss may be your protection. What feels like a delay may be your redirection. Sometimes Allah breaks something now to save you later. Finally, there's Dhul Qarnayn, a leader powerful yet humble, strong yet just. He traveled far, using his strength not to dominate but to serve. He helped nations, built barriers to protect them from harm, and then said, "This is a mercy from my Lord." In every victory, he remembered the source. His story is a call to every believer who is given influence, wealth, or authority to use it with integrity. Power is not a crown to wear, it's a trust to uphold. True greatness is not in ruling others, but in serving with sincerity. All these stories are not distant tales, they are mirrors. Each one reflects a truth we need to remember in our own journey. When faith feels heavy, remember the youths in the cave. When success blinds you, remember the man with the gardens. When you can't understand Allah's plan, remember Musa and Khidr. When you're given strength or status, remember Dhul Qarnayn. Surah Al-Kahf is not about history. It's about the present, your present. It's about anchoring your soul when the world is pulling you in every direction. Every Friday, when you sit with this surah, you are not just reading words. You are renewing your connection to Allah. You are saying, "Light Allah, light my heart again." Because from one Friday to the next, the world will try to darken that light with worry, with sin, with forgetfulness. But this surah brings you back. It polishes the heart, clears the fog, and teaches you once again that your peace lies only in His remembrance. So when the next Friday comes, make space for this meeting. Open the Quran not with haste, but with hunger. Let the verses enter not just your mind, but your soul. Let them speak to your wounds, your doubts, your quiet fears. Even if you can't finish the entire surah, read what you can with presence. Reflect, pause, breathe. Because this is not about perfection. It's about connection. Allah looks not at how much you recite, but how sincerely you return. And as the week unfolds, carry the lessons with you. When life confuses you, remember that light promise between Fridays. When temptation calls, remember the shield hidden in those verses. When you feel alone, remember the sleepers in the cave and how Allah protected them. Let every Friday become your return to that light. The light that doesn't fade when the sun sets. The light that stays within you, guiding you gently, quietly, mercifully back to Him. My beloved sisters and brothers, I ask you, don't let Fridays pass unnoticed in the rush. Let them become milestones of return. Return to the book, return to clarity, return to a heart that remembers. If you leave this today with only one decision, let it be this: commit, even in smallness, to recite Surah Al-Kahf this coming Friday. Guard that moment. Defend your heart. May Allah illuminate us with the light promised between Fridays. May He protect us from the fitna that would shake our foundation. May He soften our hearts to understand what lies between the lines and help us live from that understanding. So when next Friday arrives, don't merely say, "I'll try." Start your Friday's dawn with that surah, anchor your heart, and rise knowing that you carry a light that not just guides but defends. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.